Hey everybody, I'm JJ. You're watching Reality Survival, and today we're going to do just whatever you want to do. We're going to chat, hang out, talk, whatever. So we'll see if I got some sound here. Hey everybody. There it is. All right, let me get this going here. Hey, what's going on, Jared? Thank you, sir. Appreciate the info and the audio. Pull my chat box up here. I got no agenda today. I'm just going to hang out and talk with you guys. So whatever you want to talk about is what we'll talk about. Otherwise, I'll go watch some shows with my wife. If nobody wants to chat. I don't really have any agenda. Hey, what's going on, Randall? The one thing I did figure out that I'm going to do, pull this, I'm still trying to get my screens all lined up here. What I want to do for the Substack is I am going to, we're doing the giveaway. So the post is up. You got to get over there and comment on the post if you want to be included in the giveaway. You got to, subscribe to the Substack, enter your email. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Then the next Substack giveaway is going to be this one. And those have been the first three giveaways are all for free subscribers. And then I think what I'm going to do is once per month, I'm going to do a giveaway for the paid subscribers after that. And it's going to be something that is at least somewhat substantial. So I'm guessing probably around $100 or so, something like that. I think I might be able to swing that each month. And that'll go just to the folks who are paid subscribers over there. I lowered the price, so it's only $5 per month or $50 per year. And right now there's a 30% off deal, and you get 30% off forever. So if you want to support my efforts to try to educate the populace about disaster preparedness, then I'm going to try to give back to you guys who are given to me through a monthly giveaway. And we don't have a whole lot of paid subscribers over there right now. There's a handful. So your odds of winning some of these giveaways are pretty high, I think. And I think that would be kind of cool, just to be able, for me, for those of you who support me, to kind of give back to you guys, So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll probably start that up, right around the new year, or something along those lines. At least that's my thought anyway. So we'll see how that goes. Randall Kelly says, if anybody needs a decent multi-tool, Costco has the Leatherman Bolt on sale for $29. It's basically a wingman with no saw. Now that's pretty cool. That's a good deal, $29. The margarita is already almost gone. It's a spicy one tonight, spicier than normal. It's a half habanero and half jalapeno tequilas. Just got back from a American Legion meeting tonight. We had like a little potluck dinner or whatever. What's going on, Jake? How you doing? So that was kind of fun, and just got to meet some of the other members and their families and all that kind of stuff. And I would just encourage you guys, if you're veterans, take a look at the American Legion or Veterans of Foreign Wars or, whatever. But try to be involved with some, sort of organization in your area. That's a real good way to at least to get to know a few people, a few families around the area if you don't really know anybody. One of the most common things that people tell me when we talk on here and they talk about, well, how do I start a group, or how do I find people who I could rely on if something happens. And hey, what's going on, Angela? One of the things that you can do is get involved with some of these different kinds of groups. And even if you're not a veteran, you can probably look at like the Elks Lodge, or there's this other one. what the name of it, I can't remember the name of it too. Moose Lodge. I don't know. There's different, lodges and stuff, different things like that. And those can be a good way to meet people and to get to know people in a real, low key kind of just laid back kind of manner. And then you can kind of, decide how much you can trust them and all that kind of stuff, and maybe invite them to go out shooting and, whatever the case may be. And so I think it's a good thing to do is kind of what I'm getting at. And if you're a veteran, then you have the benefit of actually meeting other veterans as well. So you've got some common interest there and all that kind of stuff. But, a lot of those guys, a lot of them are older guys, but they've got a lot of experience. They're, a lot of them are into shooting and recreational shooting and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a pretty good way to meet like-minded people, for those of us who are into prepping and all that kind of stuff. So just a suggestion for you. If you guys hadn't thought about that, then, maybe you will, maybe you should. Utah Mike says, how's the cost of living in New Hampshire? Well, it kind of sucks. I'll be honest with you. It's not good. Here's the thing. Like when you talk to the other people around here, I'll say, man, the property tax around here is ridiculous. And then inevitably they'll say, yeah, but we don't have any state income tax. And I'll be like, yeah, but the property tax is really high, like really high. We pay $10,000 a year, I think, in property taxes. Is that right? Something like that. Yeah, it's about $1,000 a month, which is a lot. And then we also don't have any sales tax on, I think it's everything except for fast food or something like that. But here's the scam that they have going, and it is a scam for real. I'll get to your question here in a second, Australia woman. The big landowners, the people who own a lot of land, they can put a good chunk of their land in a conservation easement, and then they have to let people access their property, but then they don't have to pay hardly any sales tax. So they might own 400, 500, 600 acres of land, and they're only paying maybe a few $100 a year or something. It ain't much. I don't know how much it is, but it ain't much. But whereas if I've got 2, 3, 4 acres or whatever, I'm paying $10,000. It's criminal. So the people who have these, smaller little properties end up paying 70, 80% of the taxes. It's not fair at all. And then the people who rent don't pay any. So, the brunt of the taxes are forced upon basically the middle class, and it's not a good structure. I mean, we probably will end up moving, somewhere more south, like Tennessee or something. Stacy has family out in Spokane, Washington, so maybe we might look at Idaho or something like that, if we can't find anything good in Tennessee. But once I retire, we'll probably move somewhere else. I don't know if we'll stay here long term or not. We'll see. All right, I saw that there was a question in here. Let me take a look here. Okay. Oh, Jared says, went through CERT training through my local fire department. Do you recommend it to meet like-minded people? Yeah, if you can find an active CERT program, that's a great way to do that. I looked when I was in Cheyenne, and they didn't have any active programs there. I was going to go through and do it, but there wasn't any active there. But if you can find a place that's got it, yeah, definitely, that's a great way. And the cool part about it is too, the CERT thing is it actually helps you understand how emergency response actually works and how it's structured and who's responsible for what, and how the responsibilities are broken up in between state and federal FEMAs and all that kind of stuff. You learn a lot about the structure and all that kind of stuff. So that, I think it's worth its time, even just for that, but also for meeting like-minded people. It's definitely good. Okay, so Australian woman says, I've just finished watching Canadian Prepper and his guest Stephen on radiation awareness. but they didn't touch on long-term exposure from a nuclear power plant event. Okay. So I didn't see Canadian Prepper's video. I know that Stephen Harris, I think his name is one of the co-authors of the Crescent Kearney book on the update anyway. I don't know about him. I saw the title of Canadian Prepper's video about 90% chance that we'll have World War III or nuclear war or whatever. That's garbage. That's total nonsense. There's no way that we are at a 90% level of going to nuclear war. That's so misleading. It's not even funny. But to your question, long-term exposure from a nuclear power plant meltdown. Okay. So first, I will just say that you're in Australia, so I don't know what the construction techniques are like in Australia. I would assume they're very similar to the United States. If they are, which they probably are, then it is a very low likelihood that you will ever have a meltdown. They have most modern plants nowadays, and even older plants that have been refitted, have multiple ways to scram the rods, pull the rods out, cool the rods, and stop the fusion process very quickly if there's a problem. And so there's multiple redundancies. They can do it electronically, they can do it manually, they can also manually flood the things and all that kind of stuff. So and then even if that all goes wrong, it's built within a containment facility that even if there is a meltdown, and as long as the containment facility is intact, it'll still stop the vast majority of radiation from even leaving the facility. Okay. So I'm saying that to try to put you at ease a little bit, to say that it is unlikely that you'll have to ever deal with a meltdown. Now, my understanding is that if you live within about 5 miles of a nuclear power plant, then you should have some sort of kind of bug out or relocation plan or contingency plan, especially if you live downwind of the prevailing winds from that facility. You should also obviously keep some different chelating agents and, like iodine and all that kind of stuff. I've done a couple of videos on that, talking about the different types of chelating agents and antioxidants and all that kind of stuff to keep from absorbing radiation. So it wouldn't be an idea if you're close to a plant, then you should consider the possibility that maybe they're in a rare circumstance you might have to evacuate. But like a lot of people say, do I have to worry about like if an EMP or if there's power loss or something like that, is the plant going to melt down? No, it is very unlikely that a plant is going to melt down because of power grid loss or because of an EMP. Either way, these companies, they drill for this stuff all the time. You can go online and you can find the exercises and stuff like that, the reports that are published after they do these exercises and all that. I've found them before in the past, so I know you can find them. Oh yeah, potassium iodide, not iodine. I don't know. Either way, I mean, Iosat and Thyrosafe are like the two primary ones that you want to look at. I think those are the ones that are FDA approved for nuclear radiation. Just saw that in the comment there. So anyhow, now let's get to the question of, let's say there is a meltdown and the facility has been breached and there's a leakage of the radiation. That radiation is going to be around longer than nuclear radiation. So with nuclear radiation, like from a bomb, okay? So radiation from a bomb, you have fission and then fusion and then fission again. Whereas with a nuclear plant, you just have nuclear fission. And that when you just have fission, those isotopes the half-life of them is a lot longer than it is when it's exploded from a nuclear detonation. The way I like to think of it in my head, and Jared might be able to explain this better since he's a chemistry guy, but in my head, the way that I think about it is that the fusion portion of the bomb essentially makes those elements burn out quicker. That's the easiest way for me to remember it. When you don't have the explosion that has a fusion involved, the isotopes are going to, their half-life is going to take a lot longer to go out. I don't know scientifically if that's the right explanation. That's just the way that I think of it in my head. You would not want to stay in an area that was contaminated from a nuclear power plant if it was actually leaking. You would want to move. You would not want to stay there, because that environment is going to be contaminated for a lot longer. And that is why Chernobyl is still, not open to the public, basically. It takes a lot longer for those isotopes to degrade into a safer isotope, I guess. So that's my best answer for you on that. Hopefully it did a good job. I don't know. Hopefully it answers or assuages some of your fears. Okay. Noodlehead 77, what's going on? No, I used to live in Cheyenne, Max Bion. I used to live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, but that's down in Cheyenne Mountain that you're referring to is down in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I lived down there in 98 or 99 when I taught at the Air Force Academy. Taught the survival program one summer down there. And so I got to stay in Colorado Springs for one summer. It was nice. I liked living down there. It was a cool spot. Noodle 77 says clickbait. You must be talking about Canadian prepper, I imagine. Let's see. Jared says, not a question, just an observation. Once offered my chemistry students the chance to skip my lab final if they did CERT. Some 100 students did CERT that semester. Nice. That's cool. Double brick building with no cellars. What Australia woman lives in? I mean, you're better off than a lot of people. If it's two full layers of brick, and if you could isolate a room in the center of that facility, then you're in a better building than a lot of people are. All right. If you guys got questions, put them in there so I can answer them, because otherwise when I run out of questions, we'll end the chat and I'm gonna go hang out with the old lady. All right. Oh, Jake, he said, did they emphasize iodide, not to get iodine? Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't, like I said, I didn't watch the episode. I just saw the title of it. How did I interrupt my live stream with a short? Oh, it must have. Stray Kitten says I interrupted my own live stream with a short. I'm guessing that you probably the feed just fed it to you. I did a short earlier today when some turkeys were coming through in front of the house. They come by every day. I was just filming them. I thought about starting to feed them, fatten them up a little bit, for in case there is any problems going on. I have some nice fat turkeys running around out the backyard. I don't know. I might still do that. I might get a feeder and start feeding them. We'll see. I don't really want to pull bears in though. That's my one concern with doing that, because we've got chickens and stuff, and I don't want the bears to be smelling out the chicken house. All right. I'm not sure about that. George Orwell 2020. He says, if radioactive dust is the greatest threat after an event, would having a negative ion generator be a good idea to clean the air? Now, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I looked at this, so please don't hold me to this. It seems like like that, one or the other. Alpha particles are negatively charged. Beta particles are positively charged. Maybe, I can't remember for sure. I'm not 100% sure about that. And gamma is kind of a different beast altogether with the way that it works, I think. So I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Yeah, post away, guys. Any of you guys who have YouTube channels, you feel free to post a link to your channel so everybody else in the chat can see it and they can subscribe to it. Holy cow, we got Renaissance Marine TV in here, folks. If you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, you just take a look at it. All right. He's telling me to get off the live stream, go hang out with the old lady. Yeah. I told her we'll make it a short one, probably. Yeah, Utah Mike, the Moore County substation shoot up. Yeah, I saw that. So that's an interesting situation, and it sounds like at least one news source that I saw said that it was related to a drag queen story hour that was going on or something like that in the area, or drag show or whatever. I don't know what it was, but essentially the implication is that it was somebody on the right wing. They basically decided to take out a bunch of substations in the area, brought the grid down, and then sent a message basically saying, you're not doing that crap in our area. Now, on one side, a person can say, like, yeah, go get them, whatever. That's not the right answer, though, unfortunately. All that's going to do is that's just going to bring negative attention to the right, and it's going to give the left all the justification they need to say, see, this is why they can't have guns, because they're a threat to public infrastructure. This is why we have to do assault weapons bans and gun bans and all that kind of stuff, because they can't be trusted to not be violent. And the problem is that all those people, they're going to be caught. I can guarantee you, because having been in federal law enforcement for 20 years, I can tell you in my head, I already have a checklist of all the ways that I could find out who did that. And it's pretty easy. It's not as difficult as you guys would think. Now, I mean, if they were highly trained and highly disciplined, then maybe they could avoid some of those ways. But my sense of it is that probably within 60 days, you'll have a group of people who are going to federal prison because of that now. And so not only have they ruined their lives, they've also made the right look bad. And they've given justification for the rest of us to suffer for their stupid actions, when it would have been much smarter had they just got up off their asses and used their motivation to go and run for the county board in their area so that they could pass regulations to stop this stuff from happening. It's so much easier, and it makes us look better because we're using the system, and nobody goes to jail, and we don't have the federal government breathing down our neck trying to steal, trying to take away guns, right? It's just the wrong way to go about doing things. It's very unfortunate, because I guarantee you all of the people associated with it have basically just ruined their and their family lives, and they've given ammo for the left to use against the right. That's the way I see it. It's unfortunate, I think. Oh, let's see. I think it was more than 2, wasn't it, David? I thought it was like 6 or something like that. I don't know. It's quite a bit. Crafty Veteran says, have I ever made pemmican? I have not made it, but I have tasted it. And the stuff that I had was not great. Wasn't great. It was okay. You can do it better than what the stuff that I had. I've heard that some people using like blueberries and stuff like that to give it a little bit more of a sweet flavor and stuff in with the meat and everything. But I've not personally made pemmican before. Let's see. So Jared posted a link in there. That's sweet. Yeah, and I watched his video on that. It was a pretty good explanation. It wasn't quite as good as the video that I did, but it was close. I'm just teasing, Jared. No, it was good. It was probably a little bit more in depth than mine was. Let's see. Okay, Anthony McLeese, good question. He says, is there a good option for converting brackish water to drinkable? I'm tight on space to try and store water, but have brackish water source nearby. To my knowledge, Anthony, the only devices that are capable of turning seawater into drinkable water, I'm going to call it seawater, even though it is brackish, is a reverse osmosis pump or filter. Now, Katadyn or Katadyn, however you say it, they used to have one called the Survivor 6, I think it was, and it was one that had a little pump, and it was like a portable one, but they're expensive. They're really expensive. Now, I don't know for sure if a RO system like in your house could potentially do that as well. Now, and my thought process here is that maybe if you had an RO system in your house and it was capable, you would need to verify that first. And it was capable, you could get the brackish water, say in 5-gallon buckets or whatever, and then plug your source line into the bucket, suck that in, in through your pressure tank and everything like that, and run it through your system, and then kind of spit it out at your sink. If you have like a well or whatever, those usually use the whole house RO systems usually have like a 3-gallon pressure tank, and I think you could make that work with that kind of a loop, if that makes sense. I don't know. I did a video on installing a new Aqua system RO, and I'm an affiliate with those. You can check down in the description below and see if it looks like it'll clear it up for you as far as salt water. A normal filter will not work. A normal gravity filter will not work, and a normal like ceramic element or even the hollow fiber like a Sawyer Mini and all those kind of things, those don't work to make salt water safe, and boiling doesn't make it safe either. Now, you could do distillation. Distillation is one way where you boil the water, you capture the steam and run it through some copper pipes or whatever, and it recondensates back into water and then it drips out. That would probably be the safest way, to know for sure that you're getting it. Some people have concerns with distilled water, and it's a silly concern, saying that there's not enough minerals and all that kind of stuff. That's not true. I don't know where that came from, but you can drink just pure water just fine, and it'll work. It'll work well. The problem with distillation is it's a matter of volume. You burn a lot of energy to distill a little bit of water. Like, to distill a gallon of water would take you probably all day, like in a small distillery. Now, if you had a bigger still, then you might be able to, to do a little bit more, a little bit faster or whatever. But just in a small, like, stovetop distiller or something like that, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to get that done. So that's the best way as far as brackish water goes. Yes, the desalinization systems are very expensive. They're not good. I mean, they're good, they work, but they're not good. They're not nice to the pocketbook. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's just one. I saw one news story on the whole drag show connection to the outages. I don't know if it's actually true or not. I'm not positive. Yeah, the ones in California were several years back, and it was a couple of guys with AKs, I think, and it never did really mount to too much because they just didn't know what parts to shoot and everything. So, which is pretty easy to figure that out. But yeah, Utah Mike, you're dead on there. A distiller is the way to go for brackish water or salt water. And I have a whole emergency water purification guide on americanpreppingacademy.com. You can go and download it, and it talks about every different method, like of all of them. And it'll talk about the pros and cons of each method. So like this method it'll remove this and this, but it won't remove these items, and it kind of lays it all out, and then it goes to the next one, and it kind of talks about each one of the different methods. So that'll kind of educate you on which ones will work, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a pretty crude guide because I didn't have it like professionally edited or anything. It's just me. So. Yep, Matthew Stone got that right there with the brackish water. You could do the distillation. Exactly. You have to use a big one. That's correct, because you ain't gonna get much out of a small one. Exactly, Chuck Norris. See, why am I even trying to tell you guys anything? You guys already know all this stuff. You just come out and hang out in the chat, and everybody can answer your stuff. Yeah, Berkey filters will not remove salt if we're on that topic, and adding gravel and sand and activated charcoal will not make it any better. Yeah, Renaissance Marine said the same thing. He lives down on the bayou, and he said that a distiller is the best thing he could come up with as well. The chemical expert. See, Jared, this was what I told you. You need to do chemical stuff on your channel, because he's a chemistry professor. So he said that both sodium and chloride ions are smaller than water molecules. So any filter that stops sodium and chloride will stop water from passing through too. There you go. I didn't even know why it didn't work, but now I know. That's good stuff. Okay. Who's texting me? Russell, what's going on? You must be watching. Put your channel in the chat there, Russell. That way people can come and subscribe to your channel too. What a weird question. Anyway, let's see here. All right, we're coming up on a half an hour here, so if you guys got any other questions, throw them in here. Otherwise, I'm gonna get off here and go hang out with the old lady, and we'll catch you again on Thursday with the rep or sit rep. There's some interesting stuff going on in the world, and I'm trying to keep these stories that are the most interesting to me. The one is Iran is supposedly disbanding their morality police. If that's true, then that is a pretty good indicator that the regime may end up falling, because the morality police is essentially, in Saudi they call them the mutawa. I'm not sure what they call them in Iran, but that is the mechanism that holds the religious zealots in power. Okay, they're the ones that their whole purpose really is ensuring that the population submits to the will of the religious zealots, and they make sure that people don't stray from the path. If they're disbanding them for real, that's probably the first step in the Iranian regime crumbling, because it won't take long after that, if they do actually get rid of them, for the rest of the blocks to come tumbling down, in my opinion. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Chuck Norris Gun Club says, did you hear about the little girl murdered by the FedEx driver? I have not heard about that one yet. I have not heard about that one. All right. Jared says, are they going to disband, or are they just going to rename and pretend they disbanded? Well, that's always the question, right? Like if it's just, if it's just a transfer of names and all that kind of stuff, then that doesn't mean anything, right? But if they do actually get rid of them, then that would be interesting. Oh, let's see. Chuck Norris gun said they're called the Pasdaran in Iran. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you, Chuck Norris Gun Club. I mean, maybe that's possible. Australian woman says she was thinking about building a solar still. It's possible. You can, I don't know if you can boil water with a solar still. You can pasteurize water with a solar still. I have a video on that. You might be able to get it hot enough so that you get that evaporation and then have it drip into a containment system. I mean, it's possible for sure. I don't think you're still going to get, you're not going to get a lot unless you build a pretty big system. You know what I mean? But that's interesting. Crafty Veteran's going to go cut his boy's hair. Take care, brother. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, you should do it. He's got a good channel. Oh, interesting. Mike B says they have quite a few special interest groups that despise the utility company here in North Carolina. So there could be something a little more to this than, just the drag show stuff or whatever. Matthew Cat said his cat stole a bunch of his parts for a ceiling fan. That's funny. I don't have cats. Not a cat guy. Yep, just not a cat guy. All right, guys. Well, that is pretty much it for today. Again, go over and sign up on Substack. We got a couple of more giveaways for the free subscribers over there. Tops Cockpit Commander, going to be giving it away in a day or two. The post is up, so all you got to do is subscribe, free subscription, enter your email, and then in a day or two, I'm going to randomly pick from somebody, and you'll email that knife out, and then we'll do one more by the end of the year, and that'll be this slick kit from Refuge Medical. Which, if you guys buy from Refuge Medical, you can use a discount code Reality Survival to save you 10%. This is a great little kit to carry in the, in your cargo pocket. It's got all the basics that you need for, cover a lot of issues. And, but then as we start up with the first of the year, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't know if everybody caught it or not. For the paid subscribers over there, we're going to do a giveaway per month is what I'm going to shoot for. And it'll be something fairly substantial, like a nice knife, a bushcraft knife, or a piece of EDC gear, or maybe, a couple of cool books, prepping books or something, or, maybe some med kits, or who knows what, so just depends on how much I can afford, each month or whatever. But I wanted to try to do something like that to give back to you guys, for those of you who support my efforts in trying to educate people about disaster preparedness. Now, I reduced the price, so it's only $5 a month or $50 a year. And right now, until the end of the year, until 31 December, I have a 30% off special going right now. And that 30% will be forever. So I don't even know what the math on that is. We could get the industry dork to tell us in the comments how much that is per month. Just kidding, Jared. No, but seriously, it's a cheap way to help support our efforts here to try to educate the populace about disaster preparedness. And since we don't have a ton of folks in the paid subscriber pool, then your chances of winning are going to be pretty high, especially if you stick with it, for a year or so. It'll be pretty good, I think. So just want to try to do something to give back to you guys as well. So Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to go over there to realitysurvival.substack.com and sign up. All right, take care, and we will see you on the next live stream, which will be on Thursday, but we probably have some videos in between here and there as well. All right, take care, guys. See ya.